So we'll start with no.
Okay, English might do processes. Yeah.
It's required, it's not audible.
But
It is.
No, it's required.
Required for
Recording, is it?
Yeah, correct. People want to hear your voice.
This opportunity is really nice topic, process and people. So I'll be talking more on the process. Like I support the process. Process is the key thing which gives us the result and which has some repetitivity. Okay. Whereas when we see the people it's like coming and going. But process guides the people to work. So that's a more advantage with the process having, and we can define the process in such a way like we'll be getting the result. We can have the prediction also with the process. For example, if we have set up process for executing a project, okay, for development project. Now, it really matters that who is going to work as a project manager, who is going to work as a software developer. Once the person is having the required skills, they can adhere to the process what is defined in the PMS standard or in the AMS standard or process as a library. They can replicate the same thing by executing their own work style, using their own skills and all. Okay, and at the same time, we can also always know that by putting this much of effort, how much the result we are going to get. Okay, we can have some sort of predictability also. Like, for example, some risk is there in the process. Okay, so what are the mitigation plan? What are the contingency plan we can take up? So to avoid this particular risk. So this process is going to pay us rather than it's more important to point out on the process part rather than on the people, because people is there to execute the process which is there in the place. Okay, now people are not there. If the process is not there, then people is like guidelines. Like they won't be having any guideline how to do, what to do. Okay, so process governs the people, and people has to follow the process. That's all.
okay. Just I would like to start with this.
So people are very important. Okay, people are very important. First of all, just I would like to remind my friend who is just now has discussed about this processes will give a result. Okay, it will give a result whether it is a positive or negative. Okay, one more thing is, if you see the definition of the process will guide you to give the result, but not necessarily it has to give you the result always. It's not an objective. So it's a process. And now one more thing is, he is saying that project managers, all the project managers, they should have to execute the processes. So if it is the same like that, there won't be any successful manager and any unsuccessful project managers. Because all will be who are all doing the policy station, process station, everyone should have to be successful. But is it happening in the industry? It's not at all. So that we can say that processes are not driving forces alone to success in the industry. Okay, so that these two conclusions, first of all, just I would like to get this point. Okay, there won't be any successful project manager. If you see the successful project manager who could able to handle the situations and all, because a number of factors comes into pictures. Okay, there will be defined, the processes will be there. And who has made the processes? First of all, people has made the processes. What is the process? A set of sequential activities. Because by the out of the human brains, they have decided that this is a good process, a good way to get the result. Then we have named it as a processes. That's it. The persons who are using same kind of things and getting the good results, they have made it as a process. So the origin of this one, it is a human mind. Origin of the human mind, it is a people who has created the thing. And one more thing he has informed that people they are coming and going. Okay, people they will come and go, but at the same time the intervention, the immersion has been done by the persons only. And if it is only processes, all the processes has been there in the initial days, no. So many processes, what are the processes are existing now, will it be there for so many years? Not sure. So that there will be inclusions and relations will be there in the processes, and amendments also will be there in the processes. So who is the root cause for this? What are the root cause for these and all the things? Only human brains. So human brains, people are much more powerful and at the same time who can drive the processes and who can who can give the certain guidelines and who will follow this one and to get the results. Then they will say that it is a process. Then if you see the basic definitions of we will always use it to say that best practices and good practices and all these things. And what is the best practice? When you are saying the best practices, if you notice a number of same kind of industry, if you see there are 10 to 15 companies, if you notice it, who are successful in the market, and we will notice it, what are the things they are adopting. What are the things? Because there will be some common factors will be there to get the good results. So persons, they used to say that this is the way, because of them they are getting the good results. So we will say that this is a good process. This is the best practices in the industry. Then we will say that good practices, they have made it as a standardization. Then so this is the best practices, it is for the particular industry. Then good practices means we are going to follow the same in order to get the good results. It's a good practices. So if you notice it, what is the root cause for all of these things? First of all, who are all successful in the market will take it and what they are doing it and knowing it and recording it and say that what are the common features of it and we are defining it as a process. So the root cause for each and everything is a human brain only. So nothing will be greater than that. Then what is happening? Because once we have once we have decided and dictated some policies and rules, then we used to follow the same. Because and at the same time, all the human beings will not have the capability of create the processes. So that's the rest of the thing they are following the same. Doesn't mean that processes they are driving the people. People they are driving creating the processes and emanating the process and which will give the good results in the market. So this is the successful factor. It is always a human being only. If you see it in any industry, right from the zero to till end, people they used to take so many risks and all. If you take it, suppose for example, I would like to give some examples in this. Say risk and some of the items in the project management are in the processes. Say there will be a risk and assessment will be there. So how we are going to say there will be some risk process will be there. We should have to, if it risk comes, we should have to mitigate it and we have to avoid it. This is a process. But how to mitigate it and how to do the things, there won't be any analysis for each and every situations. Because if some threat comes, so what will be the process? What will be the process? It will be the same way you should have to run away from the flood. This is one process it is there. We should have to be away from the flood. That is one process. But at that time, based on n number of situations, we should have to, human only can able to act because what way we should have to run and what, these are all the things. Just the processes are only to guideline the things. That's it. But a human brain, it is much more superior than that, and at that time we should have to they have to act according to the time. Then this flow. Okay.
Yeah. So I'll take this point what you have just talked about, the risk and the flood that you have talked about. So is only Pawan going to be there during the flood? It's not only Pawan who is going to be there during the flood. It is so many people who know what to do and who don't know what to do when a flood occurs are also there. So what happens if we define a process as to what are the steps we have to take when the flood occurs and we educate people in the organization or that particular place where the flood is going to occur, where there is a chance for the flood to occur, you educate everybody as per that particular process, instruct them as per that particular process, give them the direction in which they have to go. So when they are aware of that particular process, at the time when it happens, everybody would be safe, not only Pawan alone. So here the benefit happens to more people when we are talking about having a process and sharing these processes, making the process available to many people. So the main reason of why we have processes is called, as I agree that, whatever you have talked about, how these standards are created. taking the best in the industry knowledge and the practices across the best in the industry, and we put them together and make the process and say that these are the best practices, these are the best processes that people can follow to get themselves established in the industry. So for a company to grow and be well established and to over and over gain more and more customers and provide more and more customer satisfaction, improve over a period of time. So the main objective for a company is to grow and improve over a period of time. So are we able to satisfy that? How do we measure this particular thing is what again the processes are going to tell us. In which direction we have to move. What is that we are supposed to do? While doing what is that we have to measure? What is that we have to control? What is that we can predict? In which direction we can move? So this is how, in a step-by-step manner, the process is going to tell us. So these things, if they are in one person's mind, one person doesn't make an organization, one person doesn't make the company. So if it is put across in the form of processes, people are educated about the processes, they are made to practice these particular processes, day in, day out, operate in the way it has been directed in the processes, and provide them the tools necessary to capture and record and measure on a periodic basis. I feel that is where we can grow. So periodically we need to even improve on the processes. So it's not that processes are made one time and they are being followed by everybody. So they are being improved over a period of time as per how the industry wants to go, in which direction we want to. Thanks.
So you want to start? Sorry?
You want to start?
You have to like to start.
Nothing?
You want to start?
That means just to. That means can I?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Yeah, she
You can
has.
talk about processes.
Yes, she has said that suppose some flood comes down, won't be there, so many people will be there. So we should have to educate and we have to do the things. Okay, I am not telling any valid point, but who is training? Who is training them to who is doing the thing? It is not the process. It is a person only. Because who has created all of these things? It's a person only. Not the
Process is getting
No.
They are linked with the process. So here, I agree that people are getting done. I mean, the action is getting done by the people. Okay. Now, the people, what they are doing? If there is no process to follow, what they are going to do? They will be in the they won't be knowing what to do. When the flood comes, if the process is not there, that we have to take certain actions. So what they are going to execute in that point of time? So the process is there to govern themselves, to guide themselves, to execute the proper thing at the right time and get the right benefit, to get the right result. So that is the thing. That's the process has some sort of predictability that ensuring by undertaking this kind of steps, we are going to achieve our result. Okay. So that is the motto of the process, and process rules the people. Okay. I agree that people define the process, but what if the people who has defined the process, it's not documented? They are gone. Okay, they are not there. They are not there to guide us. Okay, now if the people are not there and they haven't documented the processes in such a fashion like people are going to follow this process, so what we'll do? Okay, we have lost everything. Okay, one fine day he is going out, then company is lost. Okay, now if the process has been